Welcome back to the channel, everyone. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to 3-star every single style of base using RC Charge Dragons. So this is going to be a little bit different than my past videos because what I'm doing is I've recorded my live hits for the last 3 days, and in this video I picked specific styles of bases that are common in Legends, and I'll show you exactly how I hit them. So this one is kind of like an isolated Town Hall diamond shaped base, and I hit every single one of these bases the same way. You want to start opposite side of the two spitters because you want your dragons to come in from that direction. And essentially what you want to do is you just place the RC in the very corner, and you let her decide which direction that she walks. So either she takes out the entire top and left side or the bottom and right side, and whichever way she decides to go, you just support her in that direction. And on this base, I place her slightly to the right because I see the Giga Bomb on top right side, and usually opposite of the Giga Bomb, people put the NATO trap and a lot of giant bombs. And I think that that's more dangerous to the Fox than the Giga Bomb. But IRC has other plans, which is okay. Doesn't really matter which direction she's going. So I just adapt when she starts going to the bottom. I just change up my plan and it's all good. And you want to save the haste vial for when she's in an area that has like a lot of high HP buildings, so she doesn't move around too much. You don't lose control of her. And I'm starting early with the cleanup baby dragon on the left side, and I saved that last invis just because my RC would only have gotten to the cannon there, and the cannon can't even hit my dragons, so like it doesn't really matter, and I'd rather use it to support my queen like I just did on the right side. So yeah, then you just spam in all your dragons opposite of the fire spitters. Use the warden whenever your dragons are dealing with high damage, and minion prince on the back end. And earlier right there, I tried to hit the sweeper with my giant arrow, but I missed. Not a big deal. I think a lot of people overemphasize the importance of the giant arrow. I mean, even if you don't hit anything with it, it's just a quick way to use an ability in the early stages of the attack and spawn your healers for your queen. Doesn't really matter too much what you hit. Ideally, you'd try and hit some air sweepers or air defenses, but it's not the end of the world if you don't. And as you can see, his base is absolutely crushed, and I will go on to the next attack. Okay, going on to the next attack. This is a very common style of base in Legends right now. It's the box base with the isolated Town Hall. And on this base, usually what I look for in the beginning is, honestly, it doesn't really matter which side you go into as long as it's not too trapped. And I see that the bottom side has the monolith, the left side has the big cannon, and usually people try and attack from the bottom right side. So I just avoided those sides when I was starting the attack. Also, right now, the attacker is being the defender is being insanely annoying with the troll Teslas in every single corner. So I'm trying to put the archers to draw the CC away, but every single corner has a troll Tesla. So I just end up putting the Valkyrie there, so the ice golems get dragged into the corner. So yeah. I'm going to be showing you two different attacks on these like box style isolated Town Hall bases. One where the RC picks up the Town Hall, and the other when she doesn't. On this base, it's kind of the same idea. I see that the last invis is not going to get me any additional value, so I just save it to support my queen. I think I'll probably use it around here. Yeah, I do. Just to keep her alive. She's really good for funneling, pulling the CC troops, so your dragons don't have to deal with them. And then you just spam everything in from the opposite side. And yeah, I mean, this style of base is probably one of the easier styles for dragons, just because most people who are running this style of base are trying to defend root riders. With the isolated Town Hall in the middle, root riders will just go around with following like the tight ring of defenses in the middle, But with dragons, like, they can fly, so they just go over the walls and take the town hall. You don't have to worry about like specifically doing anything for it. And that's why the siege barracks is better. I see a lot of different people using variations of this army with blimp, with like less invises, but having the P.E.K.K.A.s and wizards clean up super early and also support your queen just makes the attack super strong. So yeah, let's go into the next one. Like I just mentioned, I'm showing another attack. This one is one where the RC does end up getting the town hall, and you'll see that I do a slightly different approach depending on like what ends up happening. And you'll see, like, I don't really plan too much on these on these attacks, because this base is just like really easy for dragons, as long as you approach it the right way. And I usually just attack from the top. I mentioned this in some of my videos before, but people usually trap the bottom, left, and right side more than the top. I also build my own bases, and that's what I've noticed, so I try to avoid those sides. Right here, the Giga Bomb just clutches up for me, pushes my RC into the town hall, so I rage her up, grab that, get the monolith. I don't remember if I get the poison tower. Let's see. I'm not sure. But in this case, like, oh, unfortunate, my RC goes the other way. Yeah, but in this case, because the town hall is already taken out, you don't need anything on the right side to funnel your dragons into the core. So instead, I use the siege barracks and archer queen on the other side, so I can start my cleanup earlier and have them meet somewhat, like the dragons and the queen meet in the middle. So start my dragons facing away from one of the spitters, and because the pathing of this base is already like so narrow due to the town hall being taken out, you don't need anything to funnel, so just spam everything in and they'll go in the right direction. Minion prince in the back end, and just keep your eye on your queen. Make sure she's like not going into too high damage, and otherwise, again, this should be like one of the easier bases to 3-star with dragons. And most of the planning comes down to just deciding where your RC starts, and I'll explain a little bit more about how I choose which direction I start her in some of the future attacks. Okay, next base. So this one is another very popular style of base in Legends right now. It's the isolated core style base, and again, this base is defending root riders as well, so should be no problem for dragons. And the way I start on this base is pretty similar to the other box style, the diamond style base, where I enter away from the town hall. The reason that is because the town hall just absolutely blasts your fox, and she just he dies right away. Okay, well, speaking of fox dying right away, on this attack my fox dies right away, which is kind of annoying. But I usually enter away from the town hall to avoid that. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen on this attack, but you'll see I don't really need too much of an RC charge on this base. I messed up a little bit. I thought my RC was going to path up to the air defense, but you just got to be quick with your invises. So yeah, I mean, activate the tornado trap there, which is pretty lucky. And here, I just put my queen to funnel on the bottom, start with the cleanup on the top side, and I just spam all my dragons in this direction because it's facing away from the sweeper and away from the fire spitter. Ice golems to pull to the queen, and yeah, so we'll use the warden ability when dragons enter like a high damage area. I think I used it about now, yeah, because the dragons start to split up a little bit here, so I can't keep all of them in the aura. And then my minion prince targets in the direction that my dragons will go, so I just use the prince ability. yeah, if you guys have watched any of my previous videos, you'll see that I've been pretty bipolar with which attacks strats I'm using. And I think ultimately for the past like 3 days I've decided to use drags instead of roots. The reason that is people are starting to defend roots and know how to trap against like the typical RC approaches, and it makes it quite difficult to set like good funnels, and also there's risk because the roots have like very set pathing, so sometimes they just circle the town hall, so that's why I'm using dragons. Okay, next attack. This one's pretty similar to the box style bases that I've shown before. It's just like a ring type of base. Again, I'm starting from the top side. I think that there aren't too many traps here. I'm actually wrong. There are Teslas here, but it's not the end of the world. I have so many invises, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. So if I were using Root Riders, if you run into Tornado Trap, Giant Bombs early on, Teslas, it can really just like mess up your pathing, and you know, you'd have to invest overgrowth early to redirect your Root Riders into the core, and that's just like extra risk that's not worth it right now. And also you'll see it, like dragons are just so strong. There's really no need to fix what's not broken. Well, I guess it is broken, but not in that way. Okay, so here I'm using the last 2 invises to pick up this fire spitter on the back end, so I don't have anything hitting my dragons going into that side. Then I'm saving the last invis again just because I don't think I can get any more value with the NATO trap. And I usually like 9 times out of 10 I'll use the last invis on my queen to keep her alive. Sometimes I don't need it, sometimes I'll use it on the minion prince. It kind of just depends, but using the warden in high damage areas, minion prince, it's a little bit of overlap there. I probably didn't need to use both at the same time, but there's pretty much nothing left in this base. Still have like my entire army alive. So yeah, I think I use it. Yeah, I use the invis on my queen here just to keep her alive. Having that like extra damage on the outside cleanup is pretty important. Time is probably the only big issue with this army, so making sure you have as much stuff left as possible is pretty important. Alright, next up, this double rage base. It's very popular in Legends right now, and I know a lot of people struggle on it with both roots and dragons, so I'll show you how to approach this in the best way. So what you want to do is you want to charge one of the rage compartments. Even though the town hall and the monolith look, you know, very enticing, you always want to go into one of these rage compartments just because of how wide this base is. If you leave the middle, I guess, section of the base still up, it's a lot for the dragons to deal with, so you want to narrow down the pathing as much as you can with charging your RC into the middle. So even though my fox is still alive here, I'm starting to cycle with only invises just because of how high damage the middle core part of the base is. You don't want to risk at all having your RC die. It's just not worth it. So just continuing to cycle the invises here, and I'm using the same strat as before, where I put the siege barracks and queen separately from the dragons just because the base is already narrowed down. As you can see there, I was trying to hit the 2 air defenses and monolith with my arrow, but I missed because the ice golem accidentally pulls the arrow from the queen. But it doesn't really matter too much. Ideally you'd want to hit that, but it's not the end of the world. And then I put my dragons into the town hall, Warden through that, and then when my minion prince starts targeting this like high damage rage compartment on the back end, I use the ability. And then luckily the super minions come out of the siege barracks, pick up the monolith so it doesn't fry my queen, and the back end is completely frozen, so absolutely crushed again. I've also seen other people using furnaces or dragons in the CC. I just prefer super minions. Furnaces are very, very strong, except I'd rather use minions in legends because they're more predictable. Alright, next one. This is another like very loaded core style base. The way to approach this is similar to the diamond base, where you want to enter opposite of the town hall because you don't want your fox to die really early. A lot of people really try and force the RC into the core, so they'll use like an extra invis to redirect the RC into the core, but it's really not necessary, and a lot of times it'll lead to mistakes. So generally with this army, it's so strong. As long as you don't make any like major mistakes, like you should be completely fine. So on this one, even though my RC is going towards the outside, I don't really care. It's okay. Eventually she'll go back in, and when she does, here's when I use the haste vial. Honestly, I probably could have used the rage here as well. I wasn't sure if I wanted to use it or not. Probably would have been good value, but I just decided to hold off for a little bit. I mean, the core is just completely gutted here, and not much going on the right side anymore, so I put my cleanup there. I used the Valkyrie to pull some of the troops. Put my queen on the other side with siege barracks. Start my cleanup with the minions, baby dragons, also to help kill the ice golems. And yeah, I'm entering away from the town hall. This is kind of scary. Usually what you want to do is face the big damage straight on with your warden ability. But in this case, because the fire spitter is facing away, and also there's a gap right in between the big, like the storages over there and the town hall, I just choose to go from the opposite side so I can direct, like have clear pathing into the core with my dragons. I use the minion prince on the highest damage area, and then, I mean, at this point the dragons split up, but it's completely over. Absolutely crushed. I think this is probably the most overkill attack of any of the ones I've shown in the video today. So yeah, this style of base, pretty tricky for dragons, but if you execute it the right way, it's very, very effective. Alright, and for the final base, this is another double rage style base. These are some of the toughest ones for dragons if you don't do it correctly, because if the dragons don't path into the core, there's a lot of like high damage air defense or air targeting defenses. The way to approach this one is you always want to enter in away from the town hall with your RC charge to avoid the town hall blast killing your fox right away, so you can get as many cycles in as possible. I always try and prioritize keeping the fox alive as much as I can in the very early stages of the attack. But if your RC drops to low HP, or the fox is really low, or there's like super high damage in that area, it's always better just to be safe than to try and sneak in an extra fox rotation, just because if your RC dies, then the attack's pretty much over. I mean, you can recover. I've made a video about how to recover because you still have so many invis spells. But yeah, and this one I'm being a little bit fancy. I'm using like the invis redirect, and I also use the rage in the core here just to take out a lot of these big defenses. But you don't really need to do that. If she had just taken the air defense and expo, she would have pathed into the middle anyways. But I wanted to get it early because I saw that it was very clear pathing. And then In this case, I'm trying to find like the thin side of the base to enter from with my dragons, because my RC already cleared like the top left side. It's a very straight path for my dragons to reach into the rage compartment and town hall. And so yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing here. Using the warden when my dragons hit a high damage area, and then since my minion prince was like pointing in the exact correct direction, then I just used her ability, even though it kind of overlapped with the warden. It's okay. Better to have the orb pointed in the right direction than to try to wait for the perfect moment. Maybe your minion prince will hit a black mine and ends up not like working the way you wanted to. Yeah, so even though I overlapped it a bit, base is absolutely crushed. As long as you get those big raged up compartments out of the way early on, this attack is just like the dragons will deal with the rest of the base easily. So yeah, hope you guys learned a lot from this video. Let me know what types of other videos you guys want to see. Do you want to see me using root riders, dragons? I don't know. Do you like these longer form videos? Yeah, let me know.